Good afternoon. We're going to do a recording today and talk to you a little bit about the evolution of yourself, of your journey, and give you an understanding and a little bit more background on what it is you're doing here as you are evolving on this earth, you see. Many of you know about the energy system that you have, the chakras that are within the body that you are living in. But you start out where you become aware that of the root chakra. This is the one that you are worried about where you're going to live, about the amount of money that you have, about sustenance, about taking care of yourselves, about not enoughness. All of these things are part of this first energy center that a human has at the base of their spine. As you move up, you get into the second center, and this is the center where you're a little bit more worried about how you look, about how people are perceiving you. This is where lust lies. This is where a lot of expression of a human is, and this is something that is expressed through the sacral center, the second center in the human body, you see. And as you continue on up, now you've reached this center of the belly, the sacral chakra, and this is the power center, and this is where a human exhibits control. They want to control themselves, other people. They have lots of opinions and oppositions against others, and this is really the center that is at the root of those things, you see. And we would tell you that in 3D reality, and the reality that you are living in, this is really mostly where you humans reside, in the first three energy centers. And why is that? It's because your system is funded at the base of your spine by the Kundalini energy that rests there, the life force energy it is called, and that is radiating up into these centers. And this is really all you have access to as a human. It's the only way that you can perceive yourself in 3D reality is in the first three chakras. So there's nothing wrong here. You haven't done anything wrong. You're not underdeveloped, but you refer to yourself as an ego or a small self or a separated self as though it is something negative, as though you have done something wrong or you are underdeveloped. And this is really not the case at all. It is basically just a description or an understanding of where you're at on your evolution. And it's really all you have access to when you have not activated your Kundalini fully, the life force energy that you have privy to. Really, there's only enough force there that maintains you or keeps you at this level of reality that we just described to you, you see. It's where the fear is. It's where the angst is. It's where the worry is. It's where the lack is. It's where the control is. And this is how you experience life as a human. And so the funny thing is, the human, as the experiencer that it is, it wants to preserve that. It doesn't want to give that up. It finds itself to be important. It thinks it is what it is. And so oftentimes the idea of trying to expand more or raise your level of consciousness becomes difficult to do because the human becomes very lodged within itself, within the human experience, and it really doesn't want to let go of anything. It feels as though something is going to be taken away or changed about itself, and it finds itself to be important. It finds itself to be worthy of what it finds itself to be worthy of. So we're just giving you an idea of why it is you get lodged in this behavior and sometimes have a difficult time getting out of it. Quite honestly, the human is a little bit afraid that something's going to be taken away, something's going to change, that it wants to preserve itself, keep things the same, and not change. Let's use that term. Yes? And so we are here to tell you today, we want to soothe your human a little bit. We tell you all the time in recordings, the only way you're going to get the results that you want out of that human is to make it feel good, to make it feel loved, to make it feel appreciated for what it is that it is doing for you, you see. So right now, we're going to let that human know that all that is an expansive thing. It never takes anything away. So we're telling you right now, humans, we're never going to take anything away from you. You are only going to expand. You're only going to get given more by expanding your consciousness. So let's get rid of the idea that your spouse isn't going to be important, your children aren't going to be loved as much, that somehow everything is going to be unified and you're not going to find anything separate anymore. You're not going to love your individualistic life or your wife or your children. This is what a human thinks. It gets a little bit afraid that somehow its experience is going to change, and it doesn't like the idea of that change. So we want to explain to you that the love that you've been given, the love that you have for your spouse, the love that you have for your children, the love that you have for your grandchildren. Robin is saying that she has discovered is even another level of love. love she didn't know existed. Those aren't going away. You're not going to give anything up. This all-inclusive universe is going to do nothing more as you expand, is give you more. You're going to get more love. You're going to get more perception, more expansion in all that is and in yourself by moving out of these three centers. And how are you going to do it? Well, we're giving you this awareness that there is more, for one thing, and that you're not going to lose anything, for another thing, and that there is this energy source that sits at the base of your spine. And as you encourage it and as you work within yourself on your Kundalini energy, and as you bring this energy up your spine, you will eventually start to fund or have enough energy to activate those upper centers. And guess what happens when you do that? You're activating the soul. The soul self now is going to enter the high self, as you would call it, whatever you want to deem it, the God source within you, is going to start to merge with your human and accompanying it on this journey that it is on. And you are going to start to expand. And in that expanded view of yourself, you're going to actually get more love. You're going to experience love in a new way. You're going to experience love you've never experienced before. So get rid of the idea that something's going to change and go back or be taken away. You're going to go forward and get something new, something more expansive, and something better because of it. We think by giving your human this understanding that it'll start to relax a little bit, that it'll start to know that you do appreciate it and that you are grateful for the experience it has provided you thus far, but that now you know there is more coming, there is more expansion available to you. When you move up into these higher energy centers, what you're going to find is there are things there that you did not know existed. There is love there that you have not felt. There is prosperity there that you did not know that you had access to. There is so much more that there are too many words that it would take to explain to you what will become available to you as you expand to higher levels of consciousness. But you have to know that you are more. You have to believe and be able to perceive that this is a possibility for you, enable for you to have this experience, So we are here today to try to get you, to encourage you to understand what is the I am presence. Robin has experienced this firsthand because she has had the Kundalini rising. And in the last few months, we would tell you there's been a very active rising within her that is occurring. And so as she goes to her room and starts her time with herself, she notices right away that something else enters the room. And it is the high part of her. And she immediately feels the feeling of, I am here. This is who you really are. The I am presence arrives. And then she realizes here she is, Robin, in her human form, living her life, having fun with her husband, her sister, her children, her grandchildren. And even though it is something that she's enjoying and that she loves, she realizes in that moment that there is this expansive other version of herself, this I am presence, this I am really who you are. Yes, presence that enters the room that has a joy beyond description, an ecstatic view or bliss feeling. Yes, a love feeling that she has never, ever experienced before. And so as she sits in her time with herself, by herself, she has this expanded awareness of this other part, intricate part really, of the high part of herself that she has access to. So we're bringing it to your attention that when you really recognize the I am presence, and the first time you're going to recognize that presence, by the way, is you're going to start to observe yourself. You're going to start to notice where you are disconnected, where you are judging yourself, where you are condemning yourself, what you don't like about yourself, what words you use that perhaps are not going to yield you something that you're wanting in your experience. So basically you become this noticer or observer. And at first, your first knee-jerk reaction, of course, is to judge yourself and harshly and think, I'm a terrible human. I'm thinking this, I'm doing that. I'm not perfect in this way. And there you go. Yes, this is what you normally do. We've talked about this in past recordings. And this is not loving the self. This is condemning the self. So, but what we are bringing to you today is we are making you aware that that is your first notification. And actually, we would like you to really congratulate yourself and be proud of yourself rather than in judgment of yourself, that this noticing or this observing of oneself and actually the first condemning moments that you have is actually the first introduction to the high part of yourself, that you are actually merging with it. And as your human judges has this introspection of itself. This is the beginning of it, or the start of it. And then as you move up in this process, you realize that that's not really going to get you anywhere, because you cannot have this union with yourself as you are hating yourself. So you have to come to terms with the love of self. You have to start to appreciate the human for the experiences it's having. And then in this way, you will be inviting the I am presence, this high part of yourself, this large energy source that is a part of all that is, to join you in the experience that you are in. And in this joining, you will now begin to move up your Kundalini energy, and you will start to have more energy to run the other energy centers in your body at a higher level, and you will start to vibrate at a much quicker and higher rate. And in this rate, what is available to you? Well, manifestations will be quicker, intuition will be stronger, connection with all that is will be available to you. Telepathy, yes, is another thing that one could experience. There are many different things that would be available to a human as you ascend in this way. But the first idea is to really to get you understand what is going on, that nothing's wrong here. The journey that you are on is the right one. Everyone goes through it. So we are giving you a little bit of a summary of it here so you can recognize it within yourself. And there are some variations a little bit along the path, but for the most part, that is exactly how it's going to go with every single human that is on the journey within, you see. So we hope that this gives you a little bit of a understanding or a background. And the most important thing that we want to get to you today is that you really soothe your human and you appreciate it, and you let it know that you're not going to take anything away from it. It's not going to lose anything in the love that it has for the people in its life, the way that it feels about its own children, the things that it loves to do. None of that's going to go away or disappear. If you love it, it can be added and continued. But what is going to occur in your expansion process is more. You're going to get more, not less. So this is a common pitfall that humans have grappled with a little bit. Robin would even say she can remember hearing people talking about going into these bliss states and everything is the same, and you love the grocery store clerk the same as you do your wife and your children, and she think, I don't know about that. I'm not sure that that's a path that's really going to feel good to me. And so what we're really trying to explain to you is what is going to happen is you're going to know love at new levels, at new ways of perceiving that you have not perceived yet. So it is indescribable to actually give it to you in words, but we are telling you it is there. And as this process continues, and as you rise in levels of consciousness, and you will continue to expand and grow, it's what seems to be a never-ending level of expansion that at each level that you expand to, there is more love, there is more expansion, more ecstatic, more orgasmic, more beautiful than what you could ever imagine. And then there is the potential, as one continues along this path and in this direction, that you will eventually just reemerge into the oneness, or the one thing of all that is, of ecstatic love, you see. That was a long way around to get to the end point that we were trying to get to. But we hope that you really get this, what we're trying to send to you, this message that you're not going to give anything up. You're not going to lose some love and gain some other kind of love. You're going to gain more love, more love, more love, more love, and more love. Good day.